The 5x5 stat line is one of the rarest feats that could be pulled off in an NBA game, unless your name is Victor Wembanyama. As a 20-year-old, Wemby managed to record a stat line that has only been seen 21 times in league history, and he did it better than nearly everyone else. He dropped over 25 points and 10 rebounds alongside his 5 assists, steals, and blocks. If you were to search for any other player that has ever done this, you'd find one: Hakeem Olajuwon. But let's put this in a perspective. Hakeem reached this stat line for the first time at 24 years old, 204 games into his NBA career. It took Wembanyama 56 games as a 20-year-old to pull off essentially a 1 in a million performance. This is just one of the few mind-numbing stats about Wemby's rookie season, a season unlike any we've ever seen. Let me get this out of the way. The Rookie of the Year race is over. I mean, let's be real, it's been that way since Wemby was drafted, but what he's done on the court has only cemented it. If we were to chart the total production from the top 20 rookies in the NBA, it would look like this. It's not much of a competition, right? Honestly, it's kind of unfair to compare these other rookies to someone who's projected to become one of the all-time greats. So let's compare him like he is one. Here are 30 of the greatest players of all time and their total production during their rookie seasons. Mike, Shaq, and David Robinson played at a level above everybody else. And this season, we can add Victor Wembanyama into this stratosphere. He isn't just dwarfing the best rookies in his class. He's outshining the greatest rookies to ever step on the floor. This kid's future is so bright that I can't even look at it. And honestly, Wemby's path to becoming one of the greats is becoming clearer as the season goes on. Victor's total production consists of 20 points, 10 rebounds, 3 assists, 1 steal, and a league-leading 3.5 blocks a game. These numbers aren't normal for a rookie. Actually, they're not even common among the league's best players. Because this season, the only individuals who are averaging a minimum of 20 points and 10 rebounds are Sabonis, AD, Jokic, Giannis, and the Alien. The dude is already among the elite of the elite players at his position, and he gets 3 blocks a night. For the sake of comparison, these are the only players in NBA history that have averaged 20-10, 3-3. Wemby is doing something that hasn't been accomplished in over 2 decades, and when it was accomplished by an all-time great in the prime of his career. The man is 20. I mean, the boy is 20. It's wild. Victor's really just a cheat code on offense. Anytime he dunks, it looks like a glitch straight out of 2K. Like, for real, look at this. He throws down a two-handed tomahawk lob from 3 feet outside the restricted area. I'm sick to my stomach. And don't forget his smooth jumper as a 7'4" shot creator. We can't even comprehend how dynamic the kid really is. At a time where the league is intensely focused on high-scoring performances, Victor is making defense look like fun.
Dread it, run from it, destiny arrives all the same.
Wembanyama leads the NBA with over 3 blocks per game. This is like one of the few marks to truly stamp yourself, at least statistically, as a defensive monster. Or at least I like to call them hungry hippos. Because, you know, they ate shots for a living. And here they are. There's a lot, I know. It's very telling of how much the game has changed over the years. It's an exceptional accomplishment to pull it off in this era. And look at this. These are the only hippos who recorded 3 blocks per game at age 20 or younger. This has only happened twice in 50 years. Victor can have a stinker of a game, shoot 4 for 16 and have like 10 points. But the impact that he has on the defensive end makes up for his bad offensive nights. He'll never have a bad game. He's too long. Wait, what? Wemby's length is obviously one of his greatest attributes. He can affect what seems like every shot when he's on the court. In fact, when Victor is on the floor, he contests nearly 50% of all shots at the rim, and players are shooting 10.5% less than their average when he's contesting these shots. This is insane. What's even funnier is that this number would actually be way higher if players didn't run the opposite direction of the rim when he's in the vicinity. Some guys will have wide open layups and dribble the ball back out. I mean, a steal and 3.5 blocks a game will do that to you. It's historic. This is every Defensive Player of the Year since 2000, alongside their steals and blocks per game. If we were to slide this season in, it would stick out among the greats, and not in a bad way. Victor would be tied for second in blocks with a prime Ben Wallace, and ranked at that same spot in stocks. That's the combination of steals and blocks. It's one of the greatest defensive seasons in recent memory. He must be the frontrunner for the Defensive Player of the Year, right? That's the problem. He isn't. This guy is. Rudy Gobert is the favorite, and it's not close. But it should be. Wembanyama tops Gobert in steals and blocks. Rudy takes the edge with 5.1 defensive win shares. But Victor comes back with the lead in defensive box plus minus and a plus 3.4 defensive Raptor, and Gobert eclipses him in defensive LeBron. Even in the context of basic and advanced metrics, Wembanyama clears Gobert in nearly every defensive category, except one, and it isn't particularly close. It would be a disservice to award the Defensive Player of the Year to a guy on the 22nd worst defensive team in the NBA. It's kinda like the MVP. Should it go to the best defender on the best defensive team, or to the greatest defender, period? I have no idea, but I know one thing is for sure. It isn't Wemby's fault that his team sucks, and I'm here to prove it. Defensive rating is a pretty basic stat. It measures how many points opponents score per 100 possessions. This can vary when a team has a great defender on the court or a pylon. For example, Luka Doncic is an average defender. When he's on the court, the Mavericks allow 115.5 points per 100 possessions. When he's off the court, they allow 114, meaning that when Luka's on the floor, Dallas is worse by over a point, placing him right here in our graph. So where does everybody else rank? Well, here's every starter in the NBA and the defensive impact that they've had on their team. Keep this in mind. The lower, the better. Above Luka, you see DeMar and Steph, who aren't the best defensively, but they make up for it on offense. And right there's LeBron, who somehow pulled off a 0.0 mark. He's literally just perfectly even. In the 2 to 3 points saved range, you find great defenders like Evan Mobley, Jokic, and Adebayo making impacts on both sides of the floor. And below them, you'll spot high-caliber two-way players in Donovan Mitchell and Paul George, who save their teams about 5 points per 100 possessions. And now we enter the field of elite defenders. You'll see Alex Caruso, Brook Lopez, and Trey Murphy. Tier 1 defensive stoppers. But there's a tier above that. Despite being in the twilight of his career, Kawhi is still an exceptional defender, impacting the Clippers' defense by over 10 points. And just below the claw is the alien. In less than a season, Victor Wembanyama has become one of the most impactful defenders in the NBA as a 20-year-old rookie. But you see that star right there? That's Rudy Gobert. So tell me, who's the Defensive Player of the Year?